Gone are the days when dull history lessons put you to sleep. Captivating visuals breathe new life into the tales of yesteryears. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the trust-tested channel. After that, leave us a comment on what other stories you would like to hear about.
From ancient Greece to medieval Britain, it seems that human beings have always loved inflicting pain on each other. Here are some of history's most horrific torture devices. The thumbscrew, a very simple vice used for crushing fingers and thumbs, was popular all across early modern Europe. The crushing bars were sometimes lined with sharp metal points to puncture the nails, and variants also existed that could accommodate both big toes and all 5 fingers. The head crusher doesn't need much explanation. The head crusher does exactly what it sounds like. First used in the early modern period, the device featured a plate below the jaw and a head cap that would gradually move closer, crushing the victim's head. Some variations of the device had a receptacle attached to catch the eyes of the victim after they popped out of the skull. This horrific device was also a popular torture method for Catholics during the Spanish Inquisition. Its use would render the victim's knees pretty much useless, but could also be used to destroy other body parts. As the 2 screws were turned, the 2 crushing blocks would move closer together, inflicting unimaginable pain and destruction to the targeting area. The rack has been around for at least 2,000 years. The Greeks were known to have used the rack to force slaves and non-citizens into confessing to crimes. Victims of the rack were often stretched until their joints were dislocated and eventually separated. Muscle fibers could even be torn and destroyed to such a degree that they could never be used effectively again. Next, the tongue tearer, a good way to silence your enemies and send a strong message at the same time. The tongue tearer was used to remove the tongues of blasphemers and heretics. A mouth opener would be used to keep the victim's tongue in view before the tearer could be used to grab it. The screw would then be tightened until the tongue was no longer attached to the victim's head. Now, the bamboo torture. You may have heard rumors of the historic use of bamboo torture in the Far East, but reports of such methods are controversial. The reported method involves tying a victim in place above a young bamboo shoot. Over the course of a few days, the fast-growing plant would grow up and into the body of the victim until it burst through the other side. Despite a lack of solid evidence for this method, a similar use of live palm sprouts by Thai invaders of Malaysia in the 19th century has been reported. Finally, the Judas cradle. If there was one thing the Spanish were good at in the 15th century, it was inventing torture methods. The Judas cradle was another horrific device used to punish heretics and force people into religious conversion. It consists of a carved wooden pyramid, which the victim would be suspended above using ropes. As they were slowly lowered onto the tip, with additional weights added onto them, they would slowly pierce the anus or vagina of the victim. If enough weights were added, the device would eventually tear through the pelvis, causing death. So which of these torture methods is worst? Check out more of these using the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and comment your thoughts. Thanks for watching.